I remember the day it all happened like it was yesterday. I was only 13 years old, a young and curious girl living in a small village in Kenya. My days were filled with chores and helping my family with farming, fetching water and cooking. But all of that changed when the aliens landed. It was just a normal day as I went about my daily routine, helping my mother in the kitchen and then heading out to fetch water. As I walked towards the nearby river, I saw something in the sky that caught my attention. At first, I thought it was a shooting star, but it was moving too slowly to be one. I watched in awe as it descended and landed in the nearby field. I couldn't believe my eyes. I had never seen anything like it before. It was a strange-looking object, like a giant metal egg. As I stood there, frozen in shock, I saw a door open and two figures stepped out. They were unlike any human I had ever seen, with pale skin and long limbs. They were aliens. I must have let out a gasp of surprise because they turned and looked straight at me. I quickly hid behind a nearby tree, peeking out to see what they would do. My heart was pounding in my chest, but my curiosity overpowered my fear. I had to see what these aliens were doing here, in my village. I followed them from a distance as they walked toward the village school. I noticed that they were trying to blend in and look like us humans. They wore clothes similar to ours and tried to mimic our movements. But it was clear to me that they were not from this world. As they entered the school, I knew I had to follow them. I sneaked in through a window and watched from a safe distance. The aliens seemed to be searching for something, moving from room to room. Soon, they came across a map of Kenya on the classroom wall. They studied it for a while before pointing to a spot on the map. It was the exact location of my village. I couldn't understand why they were so interested in our small village. I also couldn't help but wonder if they were planning to harm us. I knew I had to tell someone about this, but who would believe a 13-year-old girl talking about aliens? As I was trying to come up with a plan, I saw the aliens move towards the door. I quickly ran out of the school, making sure to stay hidden. I followed them back to their spaceship, which was still in the field. They talked to each other in a strange language, making buzzing noises and clicking sounds. I couldn't understand a word, but I knew I had to find out their intentions. I remembered that my uncle worked for the government, and maybe he could help. I ran back to my village as fast as I could, trying to come up with a plan to tell my uncle what I had seen. But when I reached my village, I saw that chaos had erupted. People were running and screaming, trying to get away from something. I knew I had to go find my family, but I couldn't leave without knowing what was going on. I remembered seeing the aliens point to our village on the map, and I had a sinking feeling that they were planning something here. Gathering all my courage, I decided to go to their spaceship and find out for myself. As I got closer, I saw that the aliens had captured some of the villagers, including my family. They were rounding them up into their spaceship, loading them like cargo. I knew I had to act fast if I wanted to save my family and my village. I hid behind some bushes and watched as the aliens loaded the villagers onto their spaceship. As they were about to close the door, I jumped out and ran towards my family, shouting for them to run. The aliens were caught off guard, and I managed to help my family escape. My uncle, who had arrived with some government officials, helped us get to safety. He explained that the government had been monitoring the aliens and they were planning to abduct humans for experimental purposes. My uncle and his team managed to overpower the aliens and send them back to their planet. The villagers and I were hailed as heroes for stopping the alien invasion. People from all over Kenya came to our village to hear our story. It was hard to believe that a small village girl like me had saved her entire village from aliens. The memory of that day still stays with me, even though it has been years since it happened. People still talk about the day when aliens landed in Kenya and a brave young girl saved her family and her village. And I will always be proud of that girl, who fearlessly stood up against the unknown and saved her people.